You're in for a treat, family, because in this video, I'm going to show you how any business owner can use speaking to grow their brand, their business, their bank account, and their follower count. So thank you for watching this video. I'm about to take you into a training I recently did, an entrepreneur speaker training, where we learn, like, what does a person need to hear for their brain to do what I call a brain buy now button? Where they hear something that tells them, man, I should follow this person. I should buy from this person. I should work with this person. What makes someone listen to you online and click a button and buy a ticket to your conference? What makes them sign up for a masterclass, a webinar? What makes them listen to your podcast? Well, the skill of speaking changes everything, because I'm going to show you how to use podcasts, panels, or speaking to grow your brand, your business, and your bank account. I hope you enjoy this training where I'm teaching a group of 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs skills of speaking that they can use in webinars or wherever they find themselves, and not motivational speaking, but where you use speaking for the purpose of growing your business. I'll see you in a minute. I hope you enjoy this training, and you'll see in the link of this video some things we have coming up that you can be a part of as it relates to becoming an entrepreneur speaker, a speaker that speaks not for hand claps, not to motivational speak, but speak to get leads for your business, grow your follower count, grow your brand, and grow your business. I'll see you in a minute. So I used to go in the room and would set up an auditorium filled with chairs. It would seat about 800 people, and I would turn the lights off and pretend I was speaking to empty chairs. And I was texting them. I was like, bro, it's crazy. Like, now, this weekend I spoke, and it's all these people. And I'm looking at people around, and the crazy part is I used to have to sneak and hope to not get caught. And then I used to be praying that I would get a raise. And then most of them, like, man, I would have to take a break, go sneak up there and speak, and get back to my desk. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about, like, man, I'm looking out at the crowd of people, and, like, the seats ain't empty no more. The seats ain't empty no more. I had to prove to myself that whether 1 or 1 million, I would do it the same. I had to prove to God that he could trust me with a gift. And I had to prove to people that I could, develop something that I didn't practice on you. So I'm not saying something where I'm writing prescriptions for patients I didn't see. Because every word that you give out, the same way you can make somebody sick with food, every word that you speak is food that you feed someone's mind. So if I'm not clear in my mind and I'm not clear with my words, I can make you sick. So thank y'all, man, because the seats ain't empty no more. Now watch what just happened. The best speech is the ones that didn't feel like it started. Intentionally, I did not want it to be a starting point of the speech. It never felt like it started. Did you see it? It never felt like a speech. It felt like a conversation. Because if I create distance between me and you where I'm on the stage, I can't have the conversation needed for you to trust me to sell. So I removed the stage and I started immediately with a seamless conversation. It wasn't a starting point. The best movies is Mission Impossible, where it starts and then the credits come. Did it feel like a speech? What we had was a human-to-human moment. Because here's the quotable. If we were doing it from stage, I would then follow up with a shareable statement. Because truth that leaves the heart reaches the heart. You don't have to figure out where to put it. The crowd will go, Let me say that again. Truth that leaves the heart reaches the heart. You don't have to figure out where to put it. Because when you connect with people, then you can unravel the thought. Did everybody see what just happened? So I'm going to show you this framework surrounding. Here's what we're going to go into. Speaking, seeding, selling, storytelling. Speaking, seeding, selling, storytelling. Speaking, seeding, selling, storytelling. Cool? And even the elements of what I just did, I'm going to break that down. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get to all of this. Like, I got so much in my head and so many things that are like technical skills and frameworks and processes for storytelling. The 10 ingredients that you need in every speech. The 5 stories that every person should have memorized, whether you're on a podcast, et cetera. So it's so much, I don't know if I'm going to get into it. All right. So everybody got that first part, that whole Florida State piece. Now here's what happened. I would normally go further with that, so I would have gone, in essence, 4 elements. Let me write it down.
Let me write it down so you can get it. You're a visual learner. So you have show the story. All right, hard to read that. Show the story. So like, when I say show the story, and I'm going to tell you the second part, show the emotion. Showing the story is where I could have embellished and talked through, and I could have used my body. Man, I would run into my office like, I hope they don't see me, right? So I could show you the story where I'm walking down the steps from Florida State, and I'm thinking to myself, so it's all the elements of how you can show someone that's not there what it would look like if they were in that room with you. Does that make sense? So the way that you do this, the way that you show the story is you want to add a couple elements. I'm going to show you really quick. And we're going to go biblical all of this. Showing the story, you're using your body, you're using words, you're using, I would say, colors. So let's just say if I'm talking about working at Florida State. You don't know what I was thinking and feeling. So showing the story is not just you being an elaborate person with your body. If you ain't got that kind of personality, it's going to come across fake. Also, if you're not comfortable in your own skin, it's going to feel like a person who's counting dance steps instead of a person that's grooving. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference. So you can use language, or you can use body, or you can use both. So language would deal with where I would use, I'm going to call it your internal talk. It's, man, the whole time working there, I'm thinking, the saddest day of the month was the day I got paid. Because it reminded me when I looked at that check how little I was worth. See what just happened? We went right into it. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I gotta be worth more than this. 80 hours that I'm giving away. I'm giving away time, attention, talent. Every time I spoke in that empty room, I felt the energy like, it gotta be more than this. It gotta be more than this. It gotta be more than this. You hear the echo in thought. Because whatever point I'm gonna make at the end, guess what I'm bringing it back to? It gotta be more than this. Now, y'all know what I'm doing, but don't you emotionally connect to it. Right? So you can tell what I was thinking. This is your internal self-talk. Nobody was there with you, so you are literally showing the story where your physical body, I'm slumped at my desk, I got an attitude, I'm coming into work every day, I'm sitting there reading books, and I'm like, man. See what just happened? I'm showing the story. You can have external dialogue. So I got a girl who used to work at my office. I don't want to say her name, but well, I'm going to say it. Girl named Addison Ledner. Her dad was the CEO of the company. She was the best thing that ever happened to me. Why? Because she made it impossible for me to continue to work there. For real. Bro, I would go to the bathroom and she would text me, hey, how much longer? It's been 6 minutes. She was the best thing that ever happened to me because she reminded me, bruh, you don't need to spend another year asking somebody for permission for you to be you. We got another one because guess where I can go with that? I can have a sales story. You don't need to ask nobody permission for you to be you. See what we're doing? Every element gives me the ability to sell, to humanize, to connect. So showing the story, you got elements of it where you can use the internal thoughts and emotions you had. You can use the external, things that people said, the environment. I'm sitting in a cubicle. I'm sitting, like, what did my office look like? Make sense? How long was my drive to work? What was I thinking? What was I feeling? What did I aspire to do? What did I want? Now the person can see it. Make sense? Now, after showing the story, number 2, show the emotion. Show the emotion is so important, especially, now remember, in a second, I'm going to give context surrounding this. Showing the emotion is so important because when you show the emotion, you hold the audience in suspense and you speak to their subconscious brain. It's not a conscious thought. How could you watch a movie you know is fake and start crying? Ricky! I'm talking about, yo, I'm still mad at Franklin Mama. Yo, I'm like, yo, you done blew the bag. Like, I'm still mad. Like, if I see her right now, I swear for God. How could we know that it is not real, but it still impacts our emotion? Because your subconscious is like a TV. It only projects on the screen a thought. In your subconscious brain, there is no such thing as reasoning or logic. Logic does not exist in the subconscious brain. It is illogical for you to feel what you feel. Emotions aren't logical. This is why selling is so important. Y'all stay with me. We got to cook. When people are making buying decisions, it is the 95-5 rule. 95% of buying decisions are emotional. Only 5% are logical. You can Google this. This is proven research that corporations and companies, which my background, that's who I work with. I work with corporations and companies where we're talking about message to market match. How does a company like Apple know what words will perform on a global scale, not just to our small inner city neighborhoods? When we're talking about speaking, I've spoken in over 30 countries. The joke that lands about Ricky does not land in another country. Franklin losing his money would not land at Franklin. Who's Franklin's mom? You understand what I'm telling you? So message to market match, they are looking and saying what colors, what words stops buying behavior versus attracts it. What speaks to the subconscious brain versus the conscious brain. This that I'm teaching you today, guys, is the most powerful skill you could ever learn. I'm going to say it again. It is a skill. It is not information. This is not something you write down. This is something you learn. You don't read a book on how to swim. You swim. You don't read a book on how to ride a bike. You ride a bike. You cannot learn this by information. No note on a laptop, no note on an iPad. A guy asked me, Carter, when I got off stage at Wealth Weekend. He's like, bro, you got to tell me how you did that. You just made up a whole speech based on what we told you in the back room. And with 5 steps, points, story, introduction, everything. Like, how'd you do that? I said, bro, you're asking me to take my skill and answer it in a question. It's kind of arrogant to believe that you can have in a moment what I committed to over a lifetime. You understand what I'm telling you? You feel me? You feel me? Because before I saw you, I saw you. I couldn't quite make out your face, but in that empty room, I saw you. I didn't know your name, but in that empty room, I felt you. And I cared enough to work on a skill that I wasn't being paid for. I earned the right to be paid. You owe me money because 10 years ago, I eliminated ums, uhs. There are no redundancies in my communication. Not one. Every word that I say, I realize has power. You owe me money for that. The ability to take complex thoughts of human psychology and break it down to show the story, show the emotion, when really we're talking about neuroeconomic communication. Neuro, the study of the brain. Economics, supply, demand, opportunity costs, and buying decisions. I am breaking down a system of how your human brain decides what you want into simplicity. You owe me money for that. All right. Is everybody with me so far? Say I'm with you? With you. So show the story. Show the emotion. Because when you show the emotion, that is when you create human connection to the subconscious brain for a person to start, I think I want that. Watch this. Why do you call everything coffee except Starbucks? You say, I got to go get my Starbucks. They have created a cultural emotion. Why do you call everything a laptop instead of Apple products? Hey, hand me my iPhone. Hand me my MacBook. Why do you call everything a car except a Lamborghini or a supercar? Yeah, my Wraith, my Rolls Royce. It's not by chance. It is communication. Are y'all with me or not? All right, so show the story, show the emotion. Number 3. Teach the point. If you stay in your story too long and you don't rush to number 3 to teach your point, you drain the audience emotionally and they check out. They can't stay low too long. So watch this. Let's go back to Florida State. Man, it's crazy. I was sitting there. Let's go all the way back. Let's back it up like Juvenile for the 99-2000. We ready? We straight over there? Everybody good? We might, like, this is how we started. Everybody good? We mic'd up? All right, man, when I was sitting there in the back, y'all, we right back in it. When I was sitting in the back, I was just sitting there thinking about it, and I was texting my brother like, yo, I was getting ready to speak, and I was remembering when I was working at see, whole story. We go into the whole joint, show the emotion. I'm sitting there at my desk wondering, man, for all these ideas, for all these gifts, God, why would you deposit this much into me if there's nowhere for me to place it, when there's no demand or need for it? I'm sitting in a meeting where I can't even speak up or say nothing. My greatest skill is communication, but the thing they got me doing is setting up chairs in an empty room. Imagine how insignificant I feel, because the saddest day of the month is the day I get paid. I'm working the hardest but making the least. The crazy part is I got to go to Barnes and Nobles each day because I can't even afford to buy books that I want to read. I got to choose, and I went to Walmart, my grocery list for a whole 2 years, and this is a true story. I had a George Foreman grill. Watch what just happened, pause. Why would I use George Foreman? It's a human connection to a time that people connect to, the 90s. Yep. I go to George Foreman, I'm walking down the aisle, and all I could get was bread, that great value turkey burgers, and ramen noodles. That was my grocery list for 2 years. I went a whole 2 years and could never pay all my bills at the same time. I had to choose, and I got really good at it because I realized you can let it go on that cell phone bill. They ain't going to cut you off after 1 month. Ain't no late payments on it either. You see where we at? It's the longer version of the same story, right? What am I doing? Showing you the emotion and showing you where I was in that point in time. Can't y'all see it? Now teach the point. I got 3 of them. Y'all heard me say it earlier. I had to prove, number 1, I had to prove to myself I could be trusted. I had to prove to God he could trust me with the gift. And I had to earn the right to be paid. We got 3 points. Saw the 3 points?
We got to start right there. That is only, few minutes out of a multiple hour training. So this training went for 8 hours. So you're watching, a few minutes out of an 8 hour. But we wanted to make sure you got a chance to check it out. If you ever want to attend any entrepreneur speaker training or anything like that we have coming up, you'll see it in the description of this video. Now, I want to warn you, it's the most powerful skill you can have, speaking, because if you're good at anything, someone's going to invite you to talk about it. So we show entrepreneurs how to better communicate their story, their message, how to do seamless selling, how it is you do what's called seeding. It is where you're able to indirectly sell without selling. So if you're a person that says, I don't want to be salesy, but I do want to present what I do in a way that people see the value of it and make a decision, we show you how to do that, as well as how to sell to increase your conversion rate. So Entrepreneur Speaker is for you. Can't wait to see you there. We have one coming up, actually, that you could attend. Check out the link in the description. Let's watch the last piece of this training, and I'll see you next time, or either I'll see you inside the Entrepreneur Speaker Room.
Now you slow down, and number 4, teach a lesson or a strategy. Teach lesson or strategy based on your point. So number 1, I had to prove to myself I could be trusted. Now here's the reality, y'all. See, prove to myself I can be trusted, prove to God, and then earn the right to be paid. Those are my 3 points. We ready? Is this too much at a time? Okay. So watch what's happening. Here's the business side of it. I had to prove to myself I can be trusted. This is my brand story. We going brand, business, bank account, and them 3 points. The moment I say I got to prove to myself to be trusted, I can frame to you why I'm qualified to teach you. See what I'm saying? You're like, well, dang, he put in all that work for speaking, so I'm framed as a speaker. Yep. I had to prove to God I can be trusted. That's a brand mode. It's the essence of who you are. Because when you choose what you want, you also choose, do I want it from you? You get what I'm saying? Walking down the aisle, I need some barbecue sauce. All right, do I want great value barbecue sauce? Do I want Sweet Baby Ray's? What we want, cousins? Kansas City. Okay, so that means barbecue sauce is the market, but you choose the brand. Which kind do you want? If you don't have in your teaching points brand stories, I want it, but when I want trucking, who I want it from? Other people teach it. If I'm looking at a list of people and everybody's preaching, I see the schedule. Okay, T.D. Jakes at 11. I'm going to hear T.D. Jakes. They all talking about Jesus. Why I'm going to him? I want the information, Smitty, but who I want it from? When you speak from stage, you got to think about, I had to prove to myself, as soon as I'm there, I'm going to frame who I am. I got to prove to God. That's the essence of what I believe. My faith is the essence of what, if I talk about being a father, I'm talking about these intangibles that make up who you are, loyalty, integrity. You can add that in it. So I get to do that. Then I had to earn the right to be paid. Now I talk about, I'm seeding from stage because I can't sell if I'm on somebody else's stage. I earned the right to be paid. Now I can tell the story of what I help my clients do. See what I'm saying? Just like that, we got brand, business, bank account. The audience knows the brand, they know why they should work with you, and they know what you sell. By them 3 points. And nobody knows what happened. They don't know what hit them. Who that? Who there? Okay? And then teach the lesson and the strategy. This is where you personalize it for them. I'm coming to you one second. So if I teach the points, I'm going to move it to where the audience can see why this matter to me. And in a second, I'm about to seamlessly make that transition. Y'all going to see it happen in real time. Yeah.